Thank you again for this morning. And I think some of those things behind me, I'm definitely a globetrotter. I'm going to go from here back to the US, to Europe, and then to China in the next 3 weeks. So I've got a busy couple weeks. And in my 10 minutes and my one slide, so I don't have anything to progress here, I'm going to tell two stories and then talk about can your utility be smart? And I'm going to take a very water angle on this. And very much so up front, my answer is yes. And I'm also very, very biased about this, and I'll explain why in a minute. So, 1992, postal worker pulls up in front of the West Orange post office, gets out of his postal truck, goes in. It's about 11:30. It's inside for 10 minutes, comes back out. In the middle of the street where his truck used to be is a big sinkhole, truck in the sinkhole, and no idea what had happened. The utility had no idea what had happened. We also didn't realize at East Orange, West Orange Utilities that we had a corrosive soil problem throughout our entire system. So fortunately, this postal worker actually was able to get out of the vehicle and was not in the vehicle when that happened. But for us, we realized way back when, we didn't call it smart, we didn't call it anything new, but we realized that we had to have something that was interconnected and powered by our GIS, and really a corrosive soils application that was darn near impossible to build back then in ArcInfo, but something that made our utility smarter, safer, and actually enabled us to provide a level of service to our citizens that they expected, and in that case, maybe save a life or two. So, if you think about what smart is, and you look at smart utilities, smart cities, and if you focus on the outputs, which I very much agree to, is it's not about technology. Many of the smart stories are about technology and about an application that makes you smart, but it's really about providing a level of service or livability or others. So that's one kind of personal connection that I want to draw back to smart. The next is the image up here on the right. So many years ago, in one of my first consulting gigs, a field worker handed me this. So what you see up here on the right is field GIS. Actually, it's very capable. It tells me everything I need to know about my water utility system. I can shine a flashlight on it at night. It can get wet because it's laminated. Never has a power issue. But back in 1994, so not that long ago, but long enough that this utility, North Penn Water Utility in Pennsylvania, was just actually going through their first transformation. They were moving from CAD and mostly paper and this to GIS. So this field worker gave me this card and he said, "Jim, I'm 100% behind the utility. I understand what we need to do. I'm not very technology savvy. Please make sure that whatever you do is as good or better than this." So I carry this around with me. It's been in my wallet since then. Pull it out on occasions like this, but it reminds me of a number of things. One, just the level of work that you do and who you're actually serving in an organization. And two, that in this case, North Penn Water back then was already smart. So here's my first bias point. And this is Jim Higgins' point, not necessarily Esri's point about smart and smart messaging and others, is that your cities, your utilities, you may have workflows or value chains that are not properly aligned, but you understand your business. Many of you understand and have documented your KPIs. So truly, if you align those, and that is the mission of your organization, those are already smart goals, aren't they? Because again, smart is not about technology. It's not about the left side here, which is a lovely dashboard that's out of the box, that integrates every aspect of a water utility. That's just a point in time that can be solved by technology. It's really those key measures of your organization. Now, to kind of play onto that theme for a couple minutes, and then we'll end here, is that underpinning all this is the work that you do and your GIS. So a couple more buzzwords around smart. Digital twin and Internet of Things and IoT and sensors and other things. So many times a smart initiative will come into your organization. Maybe some of you experience this, maybe some of you have not, but What I'll say is GIS, in many cases, we're the last ones at the table. Things get reinvented and ideas get reinvented. What I've come to do, especially with water utility leaders, is say, look, you're 80% of the way there. You've spent the last 30 years actually making your organization smart. You already have the measures and how you will be successful. Don't start a digital twin initiative or a smart initiative and try to rebuild your GIS and try to pull all your data together and make it a big science project. Actually, look at the good work that you've been doing internally and start with your GIS. Okay, that's a second bias, but if we think about the fundamental cores of the people activity, the data activity, all the integrations with other systems, you represent really the foundation of smart for any organization, but especially a utility. So to kind of end here, and on the left here with Portsmouth Water, you see a variety of things that come from 6 different systems and integrated with the GIS, but you've got everything from customer calls and uptime to water quality to outages. You could have meter reads in here. You could track all the different activities, all the things that you're already doing as a utility, bringing them into one smart view that now allows you and enables you internally to work across all of your departments and externally to communicate with your customers to say that we're providing safe, reliable, and clearly serviced water, wastewater in what I would argue is smart. Maybe not as flashy smart, but let's actually start with something that's applied that you can show a quick win and then build up to kind of the bigger, grander message. So yes, all utilities can be smart, very achievable, large and small, and you're already 80% of the way there. Thank you for your time, and again, I look forward to spending some more time with you over the next 2 days. Thank you.